Thank you so much for being here. And I'd like to open up, and as additional attendees arrive, thank Jose Barzola, who has been not only a founder, but a powerful and effective steward of these conversations and peace building throughout the years. I'd also love to thank Wiwi Darmiasi, who has been a participant and a graduate student and a teacher and guide for our Matsunaga Institute for Peace. And we are so grateful to both of you for being a part of our beloved community. Today's presentation, I think, is going to be healing. And I am extremely grateful for Dr. Kanako Ide, as well as Masako Zamami, who will today share with you their vision and work and teaching to bring peace and harmony and dignity through the art of Ikebana. First, I'd like to invite all of you who are in the room to share with us where you are coming from in the chat. And also feel free to think of questions, as we were hoping to have a couple of questions asked at the end of these two wonderful women's presentation. I hope that all of you feel the beautiful bridge and the winds and the ocean that connects the space where I sit, Hawaii, that has been stewarded by Kanako Oiwi, and the spaces in Okinawa, spaces of historical connection and commitment. And I would love to think of your spaces as connecting to us across the Pacific too. We have Molokai, Montreal, Tokyo, North Carolina, Bellingham, Washington. That's amazing. Thank you for joining us today. So preliminarily, I'd like to just offer a quick bio for our guests. Dr. Kanako Ide is an associate professor of Soka University in Tokyo and an adjunct professor of University of Maryland's Global Campus Asia. She received her PhD from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Her main research interests are democratic education, peace education, feminism, indigenous philosophy, and aesthetic education from a philosophical perspective. She has been invited as a visiting scholar both by Teachers College, Columbia University, and Stanford University, and as a visiting professor by McGill University in Montreal, Canada. Masako Zamami has been practicing Ikebana for more than 40 years and has taught the art for more than 20 years. She's a past president of the Ikebana International Okinawa chapter, and has been and Ikebana International was founded in Tokyo in 1956 by the Ellen Gordon Allen. It is a worldwide organization dedicated to the promotion of mutual understanding and friendship through Japanese flower arrangement. So we're very grateful for both of you. And without delay, given the beautiful presentation that you have to share with our community, I'd like to hand it over to you, Kanako-san.
Well, thank you very much, Maya, for introducing us. And then thank you very much for having us, Matsugana Institute for Peace. And thank you, audience, to come to join the event. Masako and I will do our best to make a meaningful moment for all. Let's start. Hold on. Let's start. The title of the presentation for today is A Nuanced Peacebuilding, the Spirit of Friendship Through Flowers, practiced by Ikebana International Okinawa chapter, presented by Kanako and Masako Zamami, and then moderated by Maya Soetoro. Dedicated to Masayo Hirata. There are 3 sections. 1, Introduction and Background, presented by me. Section 2, Introducing Ikebana International Okinawa chapter by Masako. And then the discussion will be read by Masako and Maya Soetoro. What is Ikebana? Oops, sorry. The classical art of Japanese flower arranging, the meaning of the term was later extended to encompass all the various styles of Japanese floral art. Ikebana was introduced in Japan in the 6th century by Chinese Buddhist missionaries who had formalized the ritual of offering flowers to the Buddha. Based on a harmony of simple linear construction and an appreciation of the subtle beauty of flowers and natural materials, Ikebana has separated into several major schools according to historical periods and differing theories of artistic compositions. So as I am showing the visual images, usually at the lessons, we get same flowers, but outcomes are different. Depends on the beads, and depends on the personality, and depends on the sense of the aesthetics. Introduction, Theoretical Assumption 1. This talk is to introduce a nuanced peace building practiced by Ikebana International Okinawa chapter. 2. Hold on. Through their unique and quiet peace-building activities, this talk invites audiences to witness that it is possible, important, and morally valuable to make an effort for nurturing a type of friendship which has resistance against political tension as an acrobatic friendship building that can hold both disagreements and intimacy alongside nonverbal communication through the mediums of art and flowers. This friendship may not be powerful enough to change the political power balance in society. However, it is an effort for peace building to rationally and emotionally maintain bonds among people that allow them to be constructive. Theoretical assumptions. I introduce a few quotes from Jane Roland Martin, an American philosopher of education. She says, "If we are finally to be able to listen to the full range of our conversation, we will have to change our notion not only of what counts as a bona fide topic of study, but also of what counts as a bona fide source of data." The general expectation that any educational theory worth recording is readily accessible in books or academic journals becomes unreasonable when the objects or the subjects of educational thoughts are considered marginal. Marginal people do not normally have access to established channels of communication, and those channels rarely give equal time to topics concerning marginal people. Yet, marginal is precisely what society has considered women to be. Thus, as the larger effort of reclamation proceeds, we will have to look to sources of data that the history of educational thought regards as far from standard. As our conception of source is affected by the entrance of women into the educational realm, So too will be our conception of the discipline's techniques. Now I am showing you the world map of American military presence. And then by seeing the chart, you can see that how Japan is condensed place of American military base besides United States. And then here is Okinawa. We can't see the island, but we can see the dot. Okinawa is actually only 0.6% of Japan. However, 70% of US military facilities of Japan locates in Okinawa, which means Okinawa Island is really packed with a lot of American military associates. So if you go to Okinawa and if you see 30 people there, one should be associated with American military. However, today's talk is not something we read this map. We read the map of the chapters of Ikebana Internationals. These are the location of chapters in the world. When we compare these two maps, especially in the United States and the area of NATO, it's pretty much matched actually. And then for today's talk, we are going to talk about peace from the viewpoint of Ikebana International, which has a kind of reflection of American military base. The Power of Flower Episode 1, Admiral R.A. Brooke and a Japanese hotel maid, a war widow. Admiral R.A. Brooke came to Japan for the first time in September 1950, right after Korean War started. Brooke appears to have been unwilling to accept the mission at first. During the war, many friends and subordinates had lost their lives fighting the Japanese forces. The battleship USS Arizona, sank at Pearl Harbor, was the first ship Brooke had joined after graduating from the Naval Academy. Brooke himself wrote down his feeling towards the Japanese at that time. I did not like Japanese a little bit even. I decided I would have as little contact with them as I could and would be exactly proper, cold, courteous, and distant. After he arrived, he stayed at Imperial Hotel in Tokyo. That is the entrance of Imperial Hotel Tokyo. I love it. He left the hotel at 6:30 a.m., came back around 10 p.m. So fortunately, he didn't have time to communicate or contact with any Japanese basically. He didn't nothing there to sleep. The room was small, with only a small bed, a chair, and a dresser. It was somewhat dreary. After a month or so, Brooke bought a bunch of flowers from the florist in the basement of the hotel and put them all in a vase on the top of the dresser. When Brooke came back from the work the next night, the flowers had been very nicely arranged in the vase. The room was much more cheerful. After that, fresh flowers were added from time to time, sometimes only a spring, but always in a pleasant arrangement. After several weeks, when he went to the front desk, Brooke expressed thanks for the flowers in his room. However, the clerk at the front desk said they had not put them there. The Americans would not let them. A while later, it was found that a room-maid had done it. So the front desk is just right side of the entrance. The clerk made arrangements for me to see her. She is an elderly little woman whose husband had been killed in the war. She spoke no English. I spoke no Japanese. I had to thank her through an interpreter. Bark wanted to give her some money through the hotel, but they would not accept it. Her wages were meager. Despite that, she bought flowers to make the room as comfortable as possible for foreigner. In the end, they settled the matter by setting up a little retirement fund for her anonymously. Burke says, the little incident made me wonder if my dislike of the Japanese was sound. And then this talk questions, is this the little incident? Isn't this crucial incident? Power of Flower, Episode 2, The History of Establishment of Ikebana International with Spouse of Major General Frank Allen. Ikebana International was founded by Ellen Gordon Allen in 1956 at the former Washington Heights Club in Tokyo, today's Shibuya area, Yoyogi area. The area was returned to Japan in 1964, which means when she established Ikebana International, the area was still run by the United States. The motto is Friendship Through Flowers. The founding chapter is Tokyo. Chapter 1, DC. Chapter 2, Rome. Chapter 3, St. Louis. Chapter 4, Los Angeles. Chapter 5, Nashville. And then the second chapter in Japan is actually Chapter 10, Okinawa. Chapter 56 is Honolulu. And then the latest chapter, 268, is Seoul. And then the Ikebana you can see on the right side is Allen's creation. Today's Ikebana International in 2023, 44 countries and areas, 138 active chapters, about 7,000 active members in the world. And then usually Ikebana International creates activities by chapter. However, regional exhibitions is triennale, and the world exhibition is held every 5 years. Next one in Kyoto in 2025. Nowadays, Ikebana International is identified as a private sector feminine diplomacy among ambassadresses. The latest event in Tokyo was Ikebana International Fair 2023, last week. And then 32 schools joined, 40 embassies, and 1,500 visitors. And then they did charity with flowers. Behind of the story of the establishment of Ikebana International, in 1949, a benefit flower show was held at the Georgetown Visitation Convent School. There were all over the girls and 400 flower arrangement in the gym. What a colorful place. Well, Allen actually graduated the school in 1916. And then she was the president of the Alumni Association at that time, so she went to the event. At the last meeting of the event, the chairman of the flower show said, Ellen, I hear you are going to Japan, and when you do, study Japanese flower arrangement. You will have the most marvelous opportunity, so take advantage of it. She arrived in 1950, again, the reflection of Korean War. The first evening, for her welcome dinner party, she was invited to come to Ikebana lesson on Monday. Within 7 days, she went to Ikebana lessons. At the first lesson on Monday, she says, all the members of the class were very advanced. Mrs. Fujiwara made an arrangement for me and tried to explain. Then she said, now I will take everything out and you redo it. So this is very like a typical lesson for beginners. You see the Ikebana decoration on your left side, and then that's what I got from my Ikebana teacher. He arranged it, and then I take a picture of it, a kind of cheating, yes. And then take everything out, and then put things back. And then Ikebana instructor coming back and then see my decoration is like, having a good shape or not in terms of aesthetics. And then he give me comments. Again, I take things out and then put things back. That's the practice. In 1952, she returned to the United States. No choice. If her husband has to go back to the United States, she has to go back to the United States. That's the life of military spouse. In 1956, however, she established Ikebana International by back and forth between Tokyo and DC, and then created founding chapter in Tokyo and chapter 1 in DC. She has several testimonies which I want to share. She says, "We wives in the service whose husbands are on active duty were poor risk as members of local garden clubs, as we are here today and gone tomorrow. However, we really could practice and study this lovely art of Japan, Ikebana, wherever we were assigned." She also says, "It was magic or miracle for on that day Ikebana International was founded. I see no reason why Ikebana cannot become a veritable garland of flowers surrounding the world with beauty and binding all of us together in real and lasting friendship, a magnificent contribution from Japan to the world at large." She also says, "The reason I am so enthusiastic about Ikebana is that I think it is good for us. It is wonderful to have a few minutes respite with your flowers, away from the turmoil of everyday life. Ikebana has great therapeutic powers, for I say in my book, it is an antidote to worry, and I should certainly know when I was studying the art here in Japan. My husband was fighting with the 1st Cavalry Division in Korea. Thanks. Next speaker is Masako." Go ahead, Masako.
はい。
Masako.
Hi. Should I read
Of course.
this?
Yeah.
Can I start this one?
Sure.
Okay. Ikebana International Okinawa chapter is number 10. And the history of Okinawa is in 1957, Seiga Kobayashi and Olcott demand is suppose of the American counselor Naha Okinawa at the time proposed for the establishment of the chapter in Okinawa. In 1958, Okinawa chapter was established with 58 members. Again, last Izmet, first chapter leader. She was the supposed wife of the military person. Until 2006, American military supposed took chapter leader. It used to be, or American was our president. In 1988, chapter member we visited the Pentagon, the White House, Summer House in giving a flower demonstration at the White House, the United Nations. We visited United Nations also, and we did a demonstration at the United Nations, all the people from all over the world, and Ikebana and the tea ceremony. So at the Washington, D.C., we met the first #1 chapter, Washington, D.C., the member of the Ikebana International at the President George Washington summer house. It was the very unique communication. We had good time. In 1994, chapter member the practice in the North American area exhibition in Honolulu. I also visited with the other member. In 2017, chapter hosts the 11th World Convention in Okinawa, Ikebana International World Convention. And over 1,000 people coming from all over the world. In 2018, chapter contributed the donation to the Hawaii Okinawa Plaza. At the one, okay. We have active, that's okay. Monthly luncheon, right? We have a flower demonstration, early chapter, the exhibition, and we visit the regional exhibition is every 3 years, and the world exhibition over the 100 members today. Various social contribution with flower. We for the welcoming visitor as well as engaging international goodwill. Member went to the USA, of course, and French and China, and we, myself and my sensei, some other people. In Shanghai, we had demonstration to the world people, people from all over the world. And we visited Taiwan and Germany and Italy and the United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Korea, many places we visited to communicate with other members. Let me talk about the Keiko Sensei. Keiko Robbins is my teacher, and she's been teaching in American military base in Okinawa for the many years, over the 50 years. She is right now is 100. She is 100 years old now, last October. And she's still very healthy. So she taught me a lot for the Ikebana. She is my sensei, also like my mother and friend, everything. And she has many the students in all over the world, and they are teaching at the French and right now the USA and Florida and Virginia. She has so many students. So everybody call her the Mama, Okinawa Mama. Okay. 先生いいですか? She was teaching so many students at the Kadena USO and so many in one year. I mean, she was the one lesson. She has so many people, and the day by day and afternoon, and so many lessons. And after that, we call now an art and craft. Used to be now. I mean, Kadena is we call the USO. It's I think USO is for the service members, the welfare type. So she was teaching at the USO Kadena. So right now, I'm taking, I'm just teaching at camp poster called Art and Craft, MCCS, Marine Corps base at the Welfare Center. So we still communicate, we still be the communicate with other wives and other military function. We usually be invited by them. So we just enjoy that being friends, even with flower or without flower, we still communicate with the people on base also. So we've been invited by the journal's function, kind of special invitation. Ourselves and Okinawa International Women's Club also. Hi.
So let's watch YouTube. Is it okay, Masako sensei?
Hi.
Sharing the YouTube?
Okay. That's okay.
Learn the Japanese art of flower arranging, or Ikebana, every Saturday at 10 a.m. at Foster Framing and Fine Arts. Ikebana uses symbolism and a minimalist approach to show the individual lines and shapes of the arrangement. There are several styles of Ikebana, and you can learn about them while creating a beautiful arrangement to take home each week.
My name is Masako Zamami. I'm teaching at the Art and Craft. Ikebana is starting at the 15th century before the god. So first starting from there. This Ikebana is one school and spread so many schools. The main branch we have Shin, Soetai, Heaven, Earth, Mankind. I teach here because I like to see the people enjoy the flower. And the Ikebana International itself, our motto is friendship through the flower. When you see the flower, nobody doesn't mad. Everybody's smiling. So we like to see that you smile.
Thank you, Sensei. The spirit of the Ikebana International, the focusing on sharing the joy of the flower arrangement. Flower changed people's mind. Flower is the bridge for the peace among people. Political does not change the beauty of the flower. Lesson is lesson, just with heart is heart. Professional Ikebana instructor has two techniques. We can teach students the goodness and the beauty of flower, and she or he can communicate with student heart to heart. That's what it is. The reward is the student's happiness. Consideration doesn't matter for both civilian and service member as well as all and on base or and off base. Yes.
Masako sensei, are you all right? Do you want to say more, or do we want to move on to the Q&A?
Oh, it's okay. Maybe we can start.
Sure.
Yeah, Sensei.
So I know you've answered some of these.
I think I already talked
Yeah.
about it.
But thank you so much, Sensei, and really, we here in Hawaii again, we have a culture of lay making that is similarly productive for building peace and enlivening a sense of friendship, and we really see that the potential for goodwill extends well beyond that moment of flower arrangement, but it's also about impacting the spirit, the relationship, the energy between community, and giving that personal and interpersonal piece a chance to thrive. So we're grateful for your work. You've shared a little bit about how long you've been practicing already and teaching, but would you like to share anything more about your journey and what it has brought you in the way of surprises, or what you think you have ultimately learned from being a practitioner and a teacher for so long?
Yes, ma'am. That I've been teaching for over 40 years, almost 50 years now, and teaching. Practicing and teaching the almost 20 years. But in the meantime, I have so many people, students to meet, and we say that even they return because they come in here with husband. Most ladies coming with, spouse coming with the husband, military person, military or civilian servicemen on base. But even they return to the mainland, USA, that we all still communicate with it. And we've been touching with together, and meantime, it's for almost next year in January. Soon, one of my students, a few people, they come into the Okinawa, visiting Okinawa. So we're gonna be meet together. We cannot, very exciting to be in a meet. That's even though we finish in the teaching or they return to, we still communicate. Just for the very fairly, we fair and just being loving flower, we can be talked to, we can be, the join together. And even many years, they return to the States, many years, still we've been connected. So when we have the World Convention, every 5 years, we still meet together over there. That's, I think that's a flower. It's connected, tied up with, for us people.
Mm-hmm. So long-term friendship blooms in addition to the flowers, and that's an opportunity to share the textures of your life, your worries about your children, your hopes for your families and future. That's lovely. Can you speak a little bit more about your sense of friendship with your students, and what do you think has been born between you and your students over the years, and your what are your hopes that your students take away from your time together?
Oh, this is just for the practicing. Flower lesson is only once a week, about a couple hours. But this small outing keep us together, and even we have, what do you say, that friendship is what is, we keep saying, we don't just mainly, I'm not saying, the flower is for we're not talking about friendship through the flower, but meantime, we study together. It's that for the build up our friendship. That's what I think. So just studying and we don't talk, we just enjoy the flower. That's all we're doing, but still keep going on. Just keep tied up with us, and that's what I think is just for even I don't say those are the big word, but just it's naturally built up in heart to heart.
Heart to heart, yes. I think that if I'm not mistaken, when I was in Okinawa, I heard the concept of churaumi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the idea of the beautiful heart of the people of Okinawa, sort of reflecting an unwavering dedication to fostering understanding and compassion and harmonious coexistence. And I certainly felt that from the Okinawan people. So that's lovely. Yes, Kanako-san, thank you for creating these questions and the beautiful flower images that accompany them. Tell us about the Ikebana husband. What is that?
Yes, this is very unique, I think. But that as I said, they coming with the husband here, Okinawa. But in the meantime, without the husband's support, they cannot come to the class and take in the Ikebana. So when we have exhibition, so we ask them to arrange their own flower. We ask husband to arrange their own flower, and the advising or the helping by the wife. She just ask him to putting here there. Then they make the one piece of the Ikebana. Because of this is for harmony of the family. And just like we said in Ikebana world, we say Shin Soetai or heaven, earth, mankind. This all harmony in even a family, just like the husband, wife, and children. And heaven, earth, mankind is for the we call the natural way to the arrange. But those husbands, they come into the our exhibition. Of course, this is one of. But when the wives start taking class, the husband will usually in the car waiting for her. But a little bit later, he started coming in, take the one step, coming to the upstairs, that's our classroom, and waiting outside the classroom. Later on, he started coming and step into the classroom. And then he started seeing all the flower. Of course, himself is enjoy, I guess. Then later on, husband bring to the camera to take picture. He enjoyed himself also, doing the wife's arranging. He enjoyed also just being watching the flower. So we usually admire husband also, not only just student. So that's when we have a big flower exhibition, flower show, or a party, we ask them to arrange one piece flower, Ikebana. That's what it is at the flower, Ikebana husband. That's we say that the husband's support is big also. He doesn't show up to class all the time, but without his support, they cannot come to my class and they cannot take flower. so they cannot enjoy the flower. That's why we important also the flower Ikebana husband.
Thank
So
you.
I think, well, sorry, Maya. So we can say that Ellen Gordon, she's the, Ellen Gordon Allen is the founder of Ikebana International. However, her husband is famous as Major General, but in Ikebana International context, Major General is an Ikebana husband, something like that.
Well, I do think that it's wonderful that family in general, however that is defined, is included, and that then, as you say, will lead to not only harmony in the family, but the ripple effects of harmony going out to the community. I think about my time at Okinawa, and I was so profoundly moved by the Peace Memorial, because on the slabs of stone there in Okinawa are inscribed the names of those who died in the Battle of Okinawa, which was terrible. But it's not just the Okinawans who died, it's also the other Japanese, and it's Americans and Australians and Europeans. And this symbolizes the shared losses and the terrible tragedy of war, but also, of course, the shared commitment to peace, which was articulated by Okinawans with such elegance and determination. And so I think about this idea of, bringing the family in to create those ever widening ripples. They said that the names of all who had been lost would move out like waves across the cliff, the place where Japanese and Okinawan soldiers would jump into the water and commit suicide rather than being captured, that place of sacrifice and loss. And that commandment for peace would then move out like ripples across the water to many. And I really find in the spirit of the Okinawan people the richness of that commitment and those beautiful widening circles in a time when the world is marked by discord and strife. Okinawa really stands as a testament, I believe, to the enduring power of peace, sort of beckoning us to learn from its legacy and urging us to understand and foster compassion and build those bridges. So I really appreciate that. And this I want to be cognizant of the fact that we have only 11 minutes left. If those of you who are here, as we ask the next couple of questions, if you would like to put a question in the chat. I'm not sure how many will have a chance to answer, but by all means do. This is the time to do so. So, Masako-san, what is your most memorable experience as a member of Ikebana International? Do you have a special memory you'd like to share with us?
Yes, ma'am. At the last time, I thought when we visited Washington with member, it was to us from Okinawa, so small island, to visit the biggest and the United Nations in Washington D.C. and we demonstrate, and of course at the State Department, the guest house, I guess we call, or the party, big room. We Okinawan dance, when we do the opening ceremony, we have Kagia Defu, Okinawan dance. At the beginning of any ceremony we doing, we just show to that the people who came, and all those visitors was the most former. They came to Okinawa, high-ranking officer or so the business people. We are invited with Washington D.C. Chapter 1's member. So we dance at the big, I guess, American States Department. It was biggest to us from, a little bit Okinawa, just pinpoint in the world the map to biggest there. We dance. Of course, also we did demonstrated at the United Nations. The time we had one thing, so we brought from Okinawa the party to doing the demonstration. But when we reached there, the party was broken. We wasn't in an airplane or we don't know. But those pieces, we were kind of running around, put together and arranged it. Then Keiko sensei, my sensei said, in the United Nations, all the trouble have, many countries, they put together in peace. So you people can put all this broken base, you can put it together and set up for the peaceful in the United Nations. That's one was, not many, our member didn't understand the English the time. Myself and the Keiko sensei little bit speak English. But she explained to them, it was kind of, to me, and hit my heart. And of course, also we have the big 11th World Convention in Okinawa and the Convention Center. Then we have over 1,000 people came from all over. So that time, like Maya saying, you explained all those, the Peace Park, Peace Memorial Park. And the first of all, some people say, oh, this is kind of dark place, we don't want to show. Then I say, I raise my hand, this is, if you come to the Okinawa, you're supposed to be, visiting the Okinawa, the Peace Park. So I explained, and most people, they visit Okinawa. You already explained what was it. So many people, this is without races and all from country who fought in World War II, and from Okinawa and Japanese and American, of course, many different countries, people still they have, Peace Park. I asked them to visit anyhow. So a lot of people visit doing the World Convention. After convention to finished, they visited the Memorial Park. That's almost, to me, of course, in the World Convention in Okinawa, people from all over the world came. And one lady say, we just talked about, and she said, oh, I found in Okinawa, when they announced from headquarters, Ikebana International Headquarters announced Okinawa, she tried to find the map. She couldn't find. So she said, oh, after that, she said, kind of pinpoint in a world map. So she was very interested to come to Okinawa, and she came over, and I talked with her, and that's what to me is very, even though we kind of living in a small island, but the heart is bigger. We can be welcome to Okinawa, everybody. So she found out, she was kind of surprised, and she was happy to visit Okinawa. The first of all, she didn't know what Okinawa, so small island, how she can come, she said. But she was just, she explained to how she, assigned to come to Okinawa World 11th Convention, Flower Convention. That's what is the biggest one. And I want the people whoever visited Okinawa, they should stop by and see the Memorial Park, to me. That's what is, I think that's, we had all stuff, but peacemaking is, of course, everybody enjoyed and they understood what is Okinawa. Even so small, it's very unique island, I think. That's what I was, to me, when we have the World Convention in Okinawa from all over the world, they enjoy it. And we
Thank you.
welcome to all people who come to the Okinawa.
Thank you so much. I think that's such powerful work that you did to, to think about taking the darkness and transmuting it and putting the broken back together. I love kintsugi pottery, and it's really beautiful. Okay, I want to get to two questions. We only have 3 minutes, but perhaps with your permission, we'll stay 5 minutes extra to perhaps look at two questions. One of them is from Julia here. Thank you for this profound message. I would be grateful to know if you have favorite flowers from a peace standpoint. If there are specific flowers you love to work with because of their form and energy to you represents or radiates peace. Do you have specific flowers you like? Either of you?
For myself,
Mm.
I like very simple flower. Very simple flower. And of course, many different flowers. We have so many flowers coming from all over the, important. Of course, we raise in Okinawa. But very simple is I like to have the, just like the white lily.
White lily, lovely. Thank you. Okay, Raymond here, and I'll try to combine a couple of questions. But first, Raymond here asks, I practiced Ikebana many years ago and loved it so much. I found it to be a very personal and individual experience. I understand you have fostered friendship and deep relationships with Ikebana practice and classes and association, which is exciting. I'm wondering if there is any practice of more than one person creating a single Ikebana piece together, or if it's always individual. I'm imagining people or groups in conflict creating such a form of art collectively, or is Ikebana generally done individually? I think that's a wonderful question. Do people come together and together have a shared vision and do the Ikebana together, create a piece together for peace?
To me, my class is all different people. They just come individually assigned to the MCCS. And we have many different the relations also. And the most is the supposed wife of the military person or a civilian, and the people coming from the US and different country. But
it's a good, yes, I hear what you're saying. There's a lot of diversity there and there is a coming together. Raymond, it's an excellent idea. I hope someone does in fact do that, to have that shared effort. I want to sort of connect Yukiko and Barbara's questions, and just as the final question, sort of Yukiko talks about how it's wonderful and surprising that Ikebana has had such power to promote peace, and Barbara's asking about what she can do to help her grandson. So if you would speak, perhaps either one of you, Kanako-san, because you are an educator, I'd also welcome from you, what is the secret to connecting intergenerationally with young people, with younger students, with children? You have the elders and the young. How do we get young people interested and make a indelible impression on them? Kanako-san, you want to start?
Well, we are kind of like, running out of time, so I prefer Masako-san is, giving a speech and voice in this time.
Okay, Masako-san, what do you think about how do we reach the youngest people and get them interested and have that intergenerational duet and connection? Is that important to you?
I think so. That the flower, the right now is kind of, people is so many things going on, activity, and flower is kind of low. I mean, people is too busy to taking lesson. But I have one student. She always bring the son. He is only 6 years old, but he loves the flower. So young fool, when you're young, they come to the with mother and seeing. He is always admired the flowers. Even carrying the flowers so what do you call the softly and tenderly. So that's what makes younger to bring to the flower class. And we just had the series flower exhibition, and he came. I asked him to arrange. He came arrange with the mother, and kind of so I think the even start when you young, they start touching with the flower, they will love it. Just being so many activities going on right now, the flowers kind of ruin. I mean, the hard to start buying lesson. But we some, if they touch with the young food, then they can start being. This is boy I'm talking about. He is only 6 years old.
Beautiful.
He always come to the mother and just left over the material he used and arrange himself. That's, yes. And
Well,
we,
yeah.
yes.
Thank you so much, Masako-san, for your time and sharing your experiences and your reflections. You are a treasure and a lovely woman and teacher. And thank you, Kanako-san, for sharing with us as well and for doing all that you do for peace education. And I would like to close, since we are out of time, with just a couple of reflections from the chat. There have been a number of comments that are so lovely. Rosemary says, I'm so happy to see this effective and powerful way to create friendships, connection, and peace among the different countries and cultures. Engaging nature in this process can be quite healing in experiencing this activity that creates heart-to-heart connections. Such beautiful positive messages in the floral arrangement, which manifests harmony, balance, and more. Thank you for sharing your stories and beautiful teachings and for this profound message. Another person shares how lovely to know that globally people are arranging flowers to create peace gently and quietly behind the scenes and building deep friendships too. Another attendee says, indeed, the power of flowers in fostering friendship and peace building. I'm impressed with the presentation, practicing, sharing, and teaching the Ikebana, leading to the strength of bonds between people. Not only the US and Okinawa, but all over the world, potentially. Please continue. So thank you. You can hear that there has been a lot of appreciation for your work and your spirit. And we at the Matsunaga Institute are grateful for this example of a career in peace building from which we can draw inspiration to collectively make our world a more peaceful place for generations to come. Hope to see you at the next conversations in peace building, and aloha. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you for inviting me, and sorry for my poor English.
No, you're lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you, Maya. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing time. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you.